Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. There's one thing about the Season 4 introductory trailer that I have been thinking about. It's the part where they showed this, and then the person introducing Season 4 talks about this. We've also got some exciting PvE content on the horizon with events, and they're coming sooner than you may expect. They're a fun new themed way to play Warcraft Rumble with their own unique gameplay modifiers and rewards. This is the very first mention that we have ever had about events coming to Warcraft Rumble. So what are these events? When are they coming? They're coming sooner than you may expect. These were not part of what was announced at Blizzcon. There was Moonglade, there were the raids, there was Molten Core, and there was Scholomance, another dungeon. 3 things were announced at Blizzcon. Events were not mentioned at all, but now events are coming sooner than you may expect. The picture that they showed when they talked about events was from Darkmoon Faire, clearly. Well, what is Darkmoon Faire? Darkmoon Faire is a monthly world event in World of Warcraft. Well, it's a fair. There's mini-games out there, there's a carousel that you can go to, there's some world bosses on the island, it's held in a separate island, there's a PvP arena, you can do some PvP there if you like, there are some quests around, all sorts of fun little things going on. Although there are some implications that the fair actually may be corrupted a little bit by old gods, which comes across more clearly when fair is used in other games, like in Hearthstone. Because Darkmoon Faire was explored in Hearthstone in Madness at the Darkmoon Faire expansion in 2020, and in Hearthstone there was these sorts of carousel-style mechanics like Silas Darkmoon, choose a direction to rotate all minions, so some minions switch sides when you use that. There was some corruption, there was some change, there was some old gods, there was a killer rabbit, Monty Python reference, Darkmoon Rabbit, rush poisonous, damages the minions next to whomever this attacks. And Darkmoon Troop was also used in Mercenaries in Hearthstone, and in Mercenaries mode you fight against various Darkmoon Faire bosses, and the last boss is Yogg-Saron, who is one of the old gods. So there's actually quite a lot beneath the surface of that Darkmoon Faire, of the whimsical and happy event, but then also potential corruption and old god influence. But how would this translate into an event in Warcraft Rumble? What sort of PvE events are in other games? If we take a look at various gacha games, for example, Raid Shadow Legends or Star Trek Fleet Command or Rise of Kingdoms, typically in these sorts of gacha games, you repeat things that you do in the game anyway, so you repeat a dungeon over and over again, or you need to research a certain number of technologies, or you need to perform a certain number of hero upgrades, something like that, and then you get rewards based on how many of these activities you performed, and also based on a leaderboard. So you get randomly grouped with other bunch of people, and then whoever makes the most of these then gets the most rewards. That sort of events are in these gacha games, but Warcraft Rumble is a little bit different, and maybe a little bit closer to what Hearthstone Mercenaries was like. Hearthstone Mercenaries also had events, and actually Hearthstone Mercenaries events were the most popular Hearthstone Mercenaries content before Blizzard decided to sunset that mode for Hearthstone. In Hearthstone Mercenaries, in events you would complete the regular content that you had, bounties, which are like boss fights in Rumble. So you would complete normal and heroic bounties with special conditions or rules. For example, you need to build a team with only protectors in it, which would be like only tanks in it in Rumble, or you would build a team with no humans. So you can imagine a team with no beast characters, for example. You would have to complete something with all of your mercs alive. Well, there's no clear analogy for that one. You would need to complete an event while triggering some specific mechanic, for example. And these events, they included several different types of challenges, and they also came with some good rewards because new mercenaries were actually introduced to the game through these events. Like we get a mini in a PvP season in Hearthstone Mercenaries, there would be a mercenaries event, and then you would get something like, for example, a Khotun mercenary out of that event. So this would probably be a little bit closer to what an event could look like in Warcraft Rumble. But Warcraft Rumble already includes a lot of modifiers to the game. There's modifiers in PvP, there's modifiers in the Arclight Surges, there's relics and modifiers in dungeons. So how are events going to match into all of this? The presenter said unique gameplay modifiers. Well, there's already so many modifiers. What are these unique ones? Also, could we have leaderboards like they have in these Gacha style games, I actually think we probably won't, because that would require some development resources. And I kind of expect that this is not going to be a major development effort, because events have not been mentioned ever before. So I think this is something that they have started to do when all the juicier content is delayed, and maybe they think that this is going to keep players occupied. And it definitely did that for Mercenaries. I think Mercenaries events were great, so I have some expectations for events in Rumble as well. I expect the events to use the current bosses with some twists. That's what they did with Mercenaries. I mean, it's just reusing the content with a different twist. Not a big resource investment, but can keep players invested in the game. So, yeah, if I could dream, then maybe we could get events like Pure Tower Defense at some point, maybe some endless modes, endless attacks, and see how long you can hold on, and then have a leaderboard of that. But that's probably a bit of a pipe dream. But some kind of modifiers, bosses in a new way, and getting new rewards, so also helping with the grind a little bit. So I still do look forward to this. I'm just really uncertain what exactly it's going to be, but it can only be positive for the game. And sooner than we expect. Well, I have expected nothing from Blizzard for some time, I guess, but what is sooner than I expect then? I mean, sooner than I expect would be this season. Can we have events this season? I think we should. I mean, if it's not this season, then it's definitely not sooner than I expect. But what do you think? What do you think? What kind of events could they build for Rumble? Remember that they probably don't want to use a lot of resources for developing them, but what could it be like? I don't know, but I'm mildly intrigued. I have my hopes up. Damn, never have your hopes up in a Blizzard game, but I still do. And these events, they were just mentioned only in the video, not in the written section of the notes. Really curious promotion of a new feature, but one that I do look forward to a lot. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.